So, and a one, and a two, and a two, and a three, and a one. And we are here again. Wow. Third time. Isn't this awesome? This little old Gliston Fridmunder from Ohio is connecting with the Mad Overlord in the Ukraine once again. Our third little chat via your long distance dedication. But anyway, hey, how's it going? What have you been
Hey,
doing?
pretty good. Welcome to 5 a.m. in Ukraine.
Yeah, you nut job getting
Yay.
up this early. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm mad, don't you understand? It's in the title.
It is. It is. As a matter of fact, I think it says it some. Yeah. So, is that a new scarf?
No, it's the same scarf.
That looks more crisp.
Maybe
Man, did you
because
wash and iron it?
no, I have my underlings do that. I'm a mad overlord.
Very well.
Does Doctor Doom have his underlings say do stuff? Of course.
No, but Doctor Doom does iron his clothes.
Ah!
Sometimes I'm guilty of bad jokes. Show of hands.
Hands, hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you, da, da, sweet Caroline. Oh, 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 hey, we're back.
We are back. We are back. Good
Yep.
grief.
Hey, what are we going to talk about today, sir?
Well,
I
uh,
know. Let's talk about your blacksmithing skills.
very well.
What
What
decided?
would you like to know?
Yeah, what decided? Why did you just wake up one day and say like, "Hey, I want to learn to blacksmith"?
Well, actually, um, my son signed up for blacksmith school
Oh, that's cool.
and he talked his brother into going with him. But his brother is a homebody, so to talk him into going with him, he offered to pay for it. Well, they thought it would be fun when they got that far into it to see if their old dad would go with them. And of course, I did. So we had a good time. My
Yeah.
grandpa was a blacksmith at the railroad, so we thought
Oh,
it'd be
wow.
kind of cool to visit grandpa's trade for ourselves. And anyway, it was really fun.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, hitting things with metal is always a good thing. Or hitting things with a hammer, hitting metal with a hammer. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, you'd love it. You'd love it. You know,
Yeah,
moving
where's my
steel,
sword?
as they call it, moving metal. It's really it's just like working with clay. It works the same. When you soften that metal up, you're hitting
Yeah,
it with that hammer. You're beating it just like clay. So basically, it's the same principle.
really. So where's my
Yeah,
sword?
it's really neat. So if you understand that, then you kind of understand how to get it to move where you want it to on the anvil.
Where is my sword?
Your
And it better be,
sword.
yeah, and it better be magical. I want an intelligent one. I want to make me a sword that's smarter than me, which shouldn't be difficult.
I am Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez, Chief Metallurgist to King Richard V of Spain, and I'm at your service.
Nice. Suck it, Trebek. That's the only Connery I know.
That's a shame.
Yep.
Greetings, Goldfinger.
Ah, if I need a good Zardoz quote, but I don't know.
You haven't seen Zardoz?
No, I have, but it's been like a couple years since I watched it last. I uh I downloaded it legally, of course. Um,
Right.
when Sean Connery recently passed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to watch this again because it's a obviously I really like post apocalyptical movies, and I remember that
So
was the
have I.
classic. Yeah, and especially those '70s movies were just weird. I missed movies from the '70s. Like everything today is like so like cut and dry, and it's like very homogenized. Stuff from the
Yeah,
'70s.
yeah, that weirdness. Well, you're right. That was an element that was kind of it was kind of native to that particular era.
Yeah, and I miss it. Like everything was like so off the wall and madcap. Where like today everything is just like, oh, oh. I miss that. Like even like stuff like do you ever see on or Assault on Precinct 13?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
that.
watch the original one from the 70s. They remade it like in the 2000s and it sucked. If you can find the original one from the 70s, I recommend it. It is like such a good movie.
Will do. You have to send me a list of some of your favorite, like those weird quality movies.
A list. Oh, we should do a future episode on it. Dun dun dun
That's a good
dun dun.
idea.
Okay. Speaking of post-apocalyptical stuff, one of the things I have listed on the topic for stuff to talk about today is post-apocalyptical RPGs. I recently got into a game. We meet like once a month with Jim Ward, and we're doing, as I mentioned last time, we're doing Gamma World. And I was thinking, what really good post-apocalyptical RPGs are there out there? So it's got me in a, obviously I write post-apocalyptical stuff, but it's really got me in a fall of humanity mood. So besides like Gamma World, like Mutant Crawl Classics is like really fun. But like what else? What
Actually.
else do you play?
You're back.
Oh, what's
The
the
last
last?
thing we heard from you was the Jim Ward.
Oh, so yeah, I recently got into a game with Jim Ward. Like original Gamma World. It's a lot of fun, but it got me thinking, like, what kind of really good post-apocalyptical games are there? And obviously, Mutant Crawl Classics and Mutant Future.
Well,
But what are some? Oh,
yes,
go
yes.
ahead.
I have not had the privilege of playing Gamma World. I remember when it was in the stores when I was younger, when I was a
Mhm,
kid, but I've never played it. Now I have played Mutant Crawl Classics, which is really fun.
mhm.
But because of my limited experience with those types of games, with that theme anyway, um, I would say it's you could run any system with that theme, of course.
Oh, that's true. Because original Gamma World, basically, there wasn't even in first edition, there wasn't even a lot of like guns and stuff. You
Oh yeah,
basically, yeah, you're using swords and crossbows because basically all technology basically fell apart.
yeah.
And so it was,
I always loved that theme though. Remember Thundar the Barbarian?
oh man,
His
I,
trusty
I
sidekicks Ukla and Princess Ariel.
I still pull that out every once in a while to use as
That was
inspiration.
good, man.
It was a well-written cartoon. Some of the episodes were kind of hokey, but
Yeah.
it was one of the only 70s cartoons that didn't have like a goofy sidekick. Like Uni in the Dungeons and Dragons
Oh,
cartoon,
yeah.
and Scrappy Doo, and you know, every like cartoon from that age had like some kind of like, and Clue Club had those like two dogs. There was no sidekick. Like Ookla did like a little bit of comic relief, but he wasn't the same as like Uni, where all he does is like, hey man, I'm in trouble again.
Yeah.
Help me.
I can't get in the heads of Hanna-Barbera, but I'm guessing that Thundar the Barbarian was their reach into the realm of Frank Frazetta.
Oh,
That's what I
definitely.
would guess.
Just look at some of the backgrounds. I wish I knew like who has the backgrounds, the background art for some of the Thunder Barbarian cartoons. I would buy that up in a
Hey, that
second.
was just kind of popped up right here. That looked really cool.
Yeah, wouldn't
That's a
it?
good idea. Let's look into that.
They were just. I mean, obviously, like not in the middle of the cartoon, but the backgrounds at the beginning and the end where they tried to set mood. That artwork was just gorgeous.
Demon dogs.
Yep. And they never did explain like where did the sun sword come from?
To my no, I to my knowledge, they never touched on it.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things. It's like another great thing about like old 70s stuff compared to today. Gosh, we're old. Yeah, we know. Blah blah blah. And we're not boomers, we're Gen Xers, goofy kids. Anyway, um everything is explained in stories these days. There's like no mystery, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's cool that there's
That'd
stuff.
be a good theme for a whole topic, really. Bring back the weird,
Yeah,
you
you know,
know?
like those like old,
Insert some question marks with no
yeah,
intention to answer. Let
you know,
people go away wondering about certain things. It's kind of fun.
yeah. You should because basically, in if you read like any of the classics, I have a quote somewhere. I'll have to bring it up next time. Um, that Gary Gygax, while he wasn't the most prolific writer in the world, he definitely knew fantasy and science fiction, and he knows that like wonder is more of a like important part of any kind of storytelling than oh, who are we gonna have like this week? And in like the latest Star Wars stuff, oh, everything's spelled out, and oh, here's our fan service, and everything is like right there in the. It's so homogenized, It's cool to have, and I'm rambling now, so just fall asleep and pretend to be interested. Um,
I am interested.
like Alfred Hitchcock too. It's that wonder that keeps you going, that makes you like want to like continue the story. There's no wonder in like modern storytelling. Like everything is like there in your face. Oh, like and I part of this to bring up Star Wars again. Star Wars is to blame because if you go through the original Star Wars, oh, there's this guy standing in the bar who's on screen for like 3 seconds. If you go on Wikipedia, he's got a complete backstory and a name. Uh, Porkins Porkins is on screen just to get blown up, but he's got a complete backstory. And oh my gosh. And that kind of stuff in a way is cool, but there's no wonder left in that universe. I mean, obviously people who like recently watched like I did enjoy Mandalorian, but the last couple of movies, like Rogue One included, all the answers are there. There's like literally like no mystery or wonder. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this. Oh, we're gonna do this. Oh, the plot of the thing is we're gonna destroy or we have to get the plans of the Death Star. We already know how that happens. So it's like, ugh.
Well,
I
your journey into circular topics has led me actually back to where we started with the horror or the '70s weird movies, because when you mentioned Rogue One,
mhm.
and I went to the movies to see that. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I mean, they're okay. I'll watch them. But I went to see that at the movies for one reason only, because I knew they were bringing back Peter Cushing as a CGI. So I thought, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And at that time, me and the missus were binge watching, like, every weekend we'd watch two or three of the old Hammer horror classics,
Oh, I
with
love
Christopher Lee
those.
and Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
So that we just happened to be doing that. So we went to the movies, and of course he shows up at the very end, a CGI Peter Cushing, and it was just like, oh, it was beautiful. There he was, you
Yeah.
know.
And I will say this to be even more controversial. If if you are on this planet and the only thing you know Peter Cushing from is Moff Tarkin, you are everything that's wrong with this universe. Because go
That's a
watch
good point.
go watch some of those old Hammer stuff.
Oh
Him and like,
man, yeah. Those were some racy, weird movies,
oh my gosh, but him
They
is
had
like
some
Van
weird stuff in
Helsing.
there. And they were racy for their time.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, they were like calm. They're like calm now, but oh
Like, oh,
gosh,
vampire chick's not wearing a bra. Oh my gosh.
yeah, oh Jeepers Creepers. But like him as Van Helsing is just it's amazing. He is just I've modeled so many of my NPCs off of like Van Helsing, Peter Cushing Van Helsing.
Oh, that's so cool to hear.
Yeah,
I've uh I've probably had at least two, maybe three Call of Cthulhu characters that I based on Cushing.
yeah. Because he's got that really like British calmness, like coolness, where some like Monty Python is like more goofy and slapstick. Well, I don't want to say slapstick, but Cushing he was cool. He just had that smooth coolness to him.
Doom is inevitable. Cigarette.
Yep. That's a classic line. But
There
yeah,
was one. It was I think it was Journey to the Center of the Earth, where they have the big drill machine that goes down.
yeah.
And there's a scene in that that's so hilarious. um, they're in panic because I don't know, something blew and there's steam going everywhere and they're in panic mode. And Cushing says, "Good, calm down. Good God, we're all British here." And he was serious.
I'm American and I still appreciate that line. That's great. But okay, so let's see what else. Anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about. We were talking about post-apocalyptic. Actually, some of those Hammer films were pretty post-apocalyptical. We should do an episode on those one day. Like watching those old Hammer films and like
Yeah, that would be awesome. Whenever you're in you need to slap together a storyline for a one shot or something like that.
Mhm.
You can't go wrong with just ripping off some Hammer horror films.
Oh, Tracy, what else were we going to talk about today? Oh, let's see, last topic I wanted to touch on today, since we're rambling.
I'm a little silent because um, folks won't know this except you and me. Uh, but I'm a little silent because I had some overbearing difficulties with Skype, and by the
Yeah,
time I was able to sign back on, I was ticked.
yeah,
So I appreciate you taking the lead with the conversation.
no problem.
Cushing helped.
Yeah, oh, it's good
That
to see.
conversation helped Cushing my fall.
I think I like it better when you're angry and silent. Oh, um,
Burn, burn.
yeah, we had technical difficulties this morning up the wazoo. So appreciate this, folks. Give us a like and subscribe and other stuff. Anyway, so the last topic is lately on YouTube. How's this for a completely random switch? Uh, I've been watching a lot of like videos. There's this guy, like Primitive Technology is one of the channels, and he's this guy in the Australian outback, and he basically builds all this stuff from scratch. He builds like huts and tools. He goes down to the river to dig out clay to make pottery.
Oh
And there's
yeah, those guys are cool.
yeah, and there's this other guy in Canada. It's called like My Self Reliance or something like that. And he's building like a log cabin in the middle of the wilderness. And I'm like, I'm I'm good with computers and nerd stuff, being a writer, but in like some kind of deep primal instinct, it's like, man, I would love to go out into the woods and like try to build me a log cabin. And so that thought has been on my mind lately. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could get like do this and do this and this. So there you go. As a blacksmith, do you ever think about going off in the wilderness and just trying to build yourself a log cabin?
Actually,
Mhm.
I do stuff like that once in a while. Now I haven't built a log cabin, but
Mhm.
I do have a teepee.
Really?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's a homemade teepee. It's by no means pretty. It doesn't have a nice paint job on it, like a lot of people expect to see on a teepee. It's very rugged and dirty. Actually, I bought a couple huge sheets of painting tarps,
Okay.
and that's what I use. So it's uh, it's pretty darn big.
Really? So when are we going to see videos of your teepee?
I'll have to bring it to Wisconsin sometime when when you're home for a visit.
Okay. And
Hey,
preferably in
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I should put it up sometime soon and do a little video shoot. That'd be fun.
yeah, preferably in the summertime.
I can show you how fun it is. To build the fire in there, and you're toasty as can be.
Really? Even in like cold weather?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
You
my.
literally the fire literally you build it right in the center.
Mhm.
So
But
the
doesn't
smoke goes up the top. It's the perfect ventilation system, really.
but like does like the tarp portion go all the way down to the ground?
Yep,
Really?
yep.
Okay. Because I would think that on like a
Well,
windy
it's
day.
conical. It's really wide at the bottom, and then the
Yeah.
higher up it gets, the more narrow it gets. And you've got an opening at the top about however big you make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the perfect ventilation system.
No
So you
kidding.
don't get any smoke, and the heat is always it's a moving heat, and
Hmm.
it just man, it's toasty.
See? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would love to like see that thing.
These two old guys showed me how to do it years ago.
Yeah, because I've been reading up on because I was blah blah blah. Obviously, as you know, a good portion of my D&D world is based on like Native American cultures, and so I'm fascinated by that stuff. So I would love to see like an authentic teepee.
Sweet. Well, I would say mine's authentic, but it's a teepee.
Really? Why not? It's not made out of like buffalo hide or human
It's
skin.
definitely not made out of buffalo hide. Aren't they
Is it made
extinct
out of
now? Well, not
is it
extinct,
made out,
but endangered.
is it made out of
They
human
were.
skin?
Maybe they're not now.
Human skin. Human.
So that's something a mad overlord would do.
Unless you are the police, then of course I would not build a teepee of human skin.
Did you miss my plug for our cop show, The Happy Hillbilly and the Mad Overlord?
I did miss that. Oh
That's a
man.
shame.
Okay,
The
say it
Mad
again.
Overlord and the Happy Hillbilly. They're cops living on the edge.
Here you go. Dun, 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 dun. I need a laser
I
gun.
just want to do good and keep peace and make people happy. And you want to rough people up and get information, even when you don't need to know anything.
Yeah. So what's the show about? Oh.
All right. Well, it was great talking to you, Mad Overlord.
Great. Tune in next week for more random, pointless stuff.
And as I always like to say, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Oh,
And
wait,
as,
no, I don't say that. That was somebody else.
and as I like to say, stay mad, be good. Peace.